guys, welcome back to Off the Water. We got a great show tonight after a nice holiday break, Christmas break, New Year's Eve break, and just a general sitting back a little bit from fishing. But we're ready to get back with it. Minimalist Challenge coming up this weekend. I think we're all pretty pumped about that, ready to get back in the game. Fishing in Leeville has been unusually pretty good this time of year. A lot of redfish being caught. Still some trout out there. I think it's going to be a great minimalist. So we got a lot to talk about tonight. I know it's been about a month since we had a show, but even us need a break from talking fishing to you guys. So as always, I got Tyler Caldwell joining me tonight. I also got Ben Day and our other assistant tournament director, Dan Rodbell, is here with me. We just finished packing all our Minimalist Challenge baits. We did 140 individual bags tonight and got them all ready. I got to say, we've got some really good looking baits this year. I'm super pumped about it. We'll talk a little bit more about the format and everything in Minimalist in a little bit. We're also going to talk about some big announcements we've got coming up for this year. We've got a lot of great things happening with the club this year. I think the officer's been working real hard, and I think everybody's going to be happy with what we got planned this year. Go through some of our tournaments we got lined up. Not going to be talking too much in detail about a lot of different things, but we're going to be talking about generally about a lot of things. So to end the last year, though, to kind of recap real quick, 2019 was a great year. I think we had probably, and Tyler, you can correct me, but I think at least for our qualifying tournaments and championship, we may have maxed out. We may have had the most people fishing in those qualifying tournaments this year than we've had in any other year. Yeah, I think our smallest may have been Double Trouble, and that was 60. If I'm wrong, yeah, 60. I know we had a lot of turnout in Rumble on the River. Minimalist again sold out.
You guys had 75 on Rumble on the River.
Yeah, 75 Rumble on the River, and just a great tournament. And then to cap it all off, I think we had 40 people qualify for the championship, which was held down in Leeville this year. The people over in Leeville just did a phenomenal job. Awesome job. They treated us wonderfully. I think we rented out all the cabins. Top water. And they opened up the entertainment area. It's the entertainment area. And we boiled crabs. We barbecued. We did pulled pork. We did gumbo.
Watched LSU football.
I think Chuck Bahan brought what did Chuck bring? Was some kind of dish, crab
like
dish.
Fish chowder too.
Fish chowder, yeah.
Crab biscuit.
Wendell had made a good chili, which we all survived on Thursday night.
So
I think Thursday night was a great night. We all had a lot of fun Thursday night for everybody that came down and got to in pre-fishing Friday. Surprisingly, the weather for Saturday it turned out to just be a phenomenal day. I think.
Really?
Would you agree?
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. And
sunshine, not in a lot of wind.
Yeah, it was cold in the morning. I know I didn't leave the launch till about 7 because I just said screw it.
Yeah, Ben didn't show up till about 7.
Yeah, I think we all just kind of said we were gonna. Well, I know. I said I was gonna let it warm up a little bit and head out there. But a lot of fish were caught. A lot of redfish. Some beautiful trout were caught. Some big bags came in. Some really big bags. I thought before the tournament, probably 25 to 30 pounds is what it was going to take to win it. And I think that the top bag was 36.5 pounds to win it. And that was 2 reds and 10 trout. So that was a phenomenal bag. We'll talk a little bit about more of that in a minute. But it was just a great time. We had great weather. A lot of people got to hang out, meet each other for the first time. If you haven't qualified for the championship yet, this is definitely the year you're going to want to try to get up there. And we got some new rules this year to help some people qualify. So, and we'll let Dan talk about that in a little bit. But Ben, I know this was your first time fishing the championship. You took second at Rumble on the River.
Correct.
Just an amazing come out of nowhere. It's like Gonzaga, first year, Final Four, just a nobody that just came out of Kenner and qualified, taking a second place in the last tournament of the year. I know you were excited about fishing it.
Yeah, I was super excited. My whole goal for the whole year was just to make the championship. And I really didn't have a lot of experience, and I just used a lot of YouTube, and I listened to Off the Water every single episode, and put in the work, a lot of pre-fishing, and I somehow went blind squirrel and got lucky.
Yeah. Well, tell us about your experience at the championship, though. Going down there and getting to hang out with a lot of these guys for the first time.
The championship was awesome. I guess just the environment, and everybody's really laxed, and you really get to talk to a lot of the club members and get to know them on a different level. Patapalooza is a little crazy. Falling Tide, there's just so many people. It's hard to get one-on-one conversations with a lot of people. So I made a lot of great connections over the championship, and I learned. That's one thing with the tournaments for Bayou Coast. You will always you will learn something every single tournament. You will learn something you did right or something you did wrong.
Yeah,
and that's the big thing about it. It's all learning experience. And I was just really glad to be surrounded by a lot of kayak fishermen of that level. Considering my experience, I've only been kayak fishing for about 3 years now. So
I know when you get in there and you're in a room like that, we've got 20, 30 guys in there, and you're looking around. It's a little intimidating at times because you're looking around and says, man, they got some good fishermen sitting in this room with me,
Oh, yeah.
And you're thinking, I'd just be happy catching some fish and not skunking when I come in.
That's my goal every time.
Oh, absolutely. Looking around that room, I'm like, there's 39 people in here. I feel like 38 of them would kick my ass. It wouldn't even be close.
Yeah. It was crazy. And, going into it, I had, if I had a bet, I had a few guys I figured being in Leeville in their backyard, I really thought would have come out first, second, or third, or in the top five. I'm not going to mention any names, but I was surprised at who ended up finishing in the top three. And we'll talk about the names. But I mean, just the bags that were brought in, they got on some trout, and that was really the difference. If you got on the trout, there was some big trout caught. I think first place mule trout was almost 3.5 pounds. So that accounted for almost 20 pounds of the bag for the 10 trout.
Yeah, and even in that bag that had the 3.47 pound mule trout, I was running the weigh-in on that, and I don't think a single one of his trout were under 17 inches. All of them were 17 to maybe 21, 22.
Yeah.
It was an absurd bag of trout. I mean, 3 of his trout weighed more than 2 of some people's reds.
Yeah.
It was wild.
It was big. So we had a shotgun launch at a Leeville at a topwater marina, and people went all different directions. Again, the weather was great. I don't think anybody skunked. I think everybody caught fish that day. It was just, could you find the trout? Could you find the redfish? Some people went for trout early. Some people went for redfish early. And I think a lot of that had to do. The water was cold when we started off. It was 50 degrees. Yep. My plan was to fish for trout later in the morning and go for my redfish first thing because of the water temperature. I was shocked when I found out people were catching trout at 6:30 in the morning with 50-degree temperatures, and that size trout. So and it happened, and it cost a lot of us. I think it cost a lot of us who were thinking the same thing. But at the end of the day, I think everybody had a great time. I do want to thank some of our sponsors for that before I forget. So Pack and Paddle last year sponsored our Angler of the Year series, and they contributed some great items. For second through fifth place, or again, Angler of the Year first place was awarded $1,000. Second through fifth, some various prizes from Pack and Paddle, which was great. Also, a big thanks to Alexa over at Cabela's. So we had this really neat deal this year where she donated a bunch of prizes for basically it was a free raffle for everybody who entered the tournament, got a ticket, and we raffled it off, and they were all wrapped up as Christmas presents. And if your name was called, you got to pick out your Christmas present and unwrap it right before Christmas. We had a lot. We had an electric fryer, like an electric turkey fryer.
A dehydrator, I think.
We had like 2 or 3 dehydrators. We had some professional vacuum sealers.
Some like cast iron pans that must have weighed 30 pounds a pop.
Some really nice cast iron cookware that anybody will tell you, you get something like that, it's going to last you a lifetime. So really want to thank Pack and Paddle and Cabela's on those items. It was great. I know a lot of people enjoyed it.
The expressions were great because they didn't know what they were getting because everything was wrapped up.
Everything was wrapped up, and they
also got the Dakota lithium battery in there.
The Dakota lithium battery, that was another big item. That one had Tyler's special signature wrapping on there with the aluminum paper. Yeah. So, just funny stories you hear about. Francis Tran was pre-fishing, and he's in Levo. What was that, Friday? And Francis is out there, and he runs into a guy crabbing, and he says, "Hey, how much are the crabs?" He's like, "Well, how much you want to buy?" He says, "I got $20 here." Mind you, he's in the kayak. So the guy gives him, I'm not kidding, it was at least 4 to 5 dozen crabs.
Like a bushel, basically.
Yeah.
A bushel
nice
of crabs.
number 2 crabs for $20. He comes back and I'm like, "Well, Francis, what are you gonna do with that?" He's like, "I didn't get that far." Yeah. Well, he's like, it was such a good deal, I couldn't afford not to buy them. So we ended up scrounging together a pot and a burner, and again, Bubba over there at Top Water loaned us some of their stuff, and we got some seasoning. So we boiled on top of that like 4 dozen crabs, which we threw into a seafood gumbo we had. Some of it we ate of it. So it was a really good time, and I'm really looking forward to this year. I'm hoping I qualify again because it's been a great time every year. But Dan, I tell you what, while we're on it, because we got a lot to talk about this year. Tell us, why don't we recap last year championship Angler of the Year series? Kind of recap where everybody finished, so we can kind of talk a little bit more about this year.
Sure. Starting off with Angler of the Year, again, that's the championship series. You got your 4 qualifying tournaments, the championship, and then also the 1 drop of your worst tournament. Taking a look down the list, we're going to start at the top. Is it Sean Rastanis took first place?
Yeah, I did. It was a great year.
Tell us a little bit about that, Sean. Let me get this microphone a little closer to you.
I got lucky. I got really lucky. I had a couple of good tournaments. I got lucky on championship day, and everything came together for me this year. It was a lifelong dream. Well, at least a 8-year lifelong dream. So, great competition. I had such a good time fishing it. I was so nervous going to the championship. I had Devin Belts and Steve Lassard were 2 spots behind me, and Matt Carr. They were all right behind me, and I'm thinking, Leeville, that is my Achilles. If I can get through Leeville and just stay close, maybe. But it was a great year. I had so much fun, and I really appreciate everything the club's done for me and everything I can do for the club. So, but we had some great anglers this year. I mean, it was neck and neck the entire way.
Yeah, I mean, finishing out this list, of course, Sean taking first place. Steve Lassard took second. Devin Belts took third.
Both of them phenomenal fishermen.
And Matt Carr took fourth.
Phenomenal fishermen.
The 4 of these guys right here that I just mentioned, I think that if any one of them had finished more than, I think, 8 or 9 spots below the other, that would have made the difference for the championship. It was within, I believe, 10 points going into the final tournament to figure out who would actually be able to win it. And then taking up the 5th place position was Terry Pham and Angler of the Year.
Yeah, and actually, I think, to give Terry some credit here, I think he was tied for 4th. There was a tie in 4th and 5th, if I remember correctly, and we had to go to some tiebreaker rules because him and Matt Carr were tied on points, and then went to a tiebreaker. So congrats to Steve, Devin, Matt, and Terry, all great fishermen. I'm looking forward to fishing against them this year. I love the competition, and I hope you guys bring it again this year.
Yep. And then to actually pivot directly to the championship itself, Sean was talking about this big bag full of big trout. That was Brian Pham. 2 reds, 10 trout. Keep in mind, we're talking 12 fish here. 36.54 pounds.
Incredible.
I don't know how he fit him in the bag. It was wild.
It was a huge
It was
bag.
impressive.
Nearly knocked over the weigh-in table.
and I tell you what was funny about that was Brian, I think, fished 2 tournaments this year. Him and Terry took first place in Double Trouble out in Pack, and he qualified there. He paid for his other tournament, and then he fishes the championship and takes first place there. And I know Terry won't admit it, but Terry told me he was taking the belt home with him before the championship. And sure enough, he did take the belt home with him. It was just on his brother's waist on the passenger seat next to him. But what a great day. Now, go ahead, announce second place.
And
Both these guys.
Keep in mind, Brian Pham, 36.54 pounds. Second place, Terry Pham, big brother / little brother at 35.8 pounds.
I mean,
so right there with them, they both of them fished together. They both got into those absolutely ridiculous trout. While Brian had the mule trout, 3.47 pounds. I don't remember the exact weight of Terry's, but it was right up there as well, above 3 pounds. Both of them had some beautiful, beautiful fish.
I ran into Terry in the marsh about 9 o'clock in the morning. I was feeling pretty good. I had 2 redfish. One was a stud, and I was feeling real good. I said, there's no way anybody's caught any trout yet. I'm gonna go hit a couple spots, and I run. And Terry's like, I said, "Hey Terry, is that you?" He's like, "Ristanis, is that you?" He comes paddling over, and I look. And he says, "Look at this!" And he opens up a bag, and I'm sitting there. I mean, tell you, my mouth dropped open, and everything that was in me that thought I had a shot in any way just emptied out. And it was 9 o'clock in the morning, and I said, "There is no way I can even come close to that bag." It shocked me how that bag looked.
And just to jump a couple other people in the placing of the championship, Sean did come in 5th place with just under 25 pounds.
I was 12 pounds behind.
Brian and Terry put him down by about 11, 12 pounds with those trout.
Yeah, that's 12 fish. 36 pounds that's impressive. I mean, both of those guys.
I thought that above 25 would have a good chance of winning this tournament before it happened.
Yeah,
that was wild.
It was wild. I don't know what they were using for redfish, but I tell you, for the trout, I think everybody that did well with trout, and I did pretty decent with trout. But it was all a suspending jerkbait.
Jerkbaits, I heard.
Yeah, jerkbaits were really on fire that particular day. Shallow water, I didn't catch much on top water or in the cork, but jerkbaits did really well that day.
Mm-hmm. And then going down the list, in 3rd place, we had Kaylon Johnson. He weighed in a 28.01 pound bag, and a big contributor to that was his stud red. He got an 8.75 pound football.
Yeah,
he pulled this thing out of the bag. I mean, it's practically had to hold the thing on his forearms. It was so big.
Yeah, I mean, a 9-pound red out of Leeville is almost 9 pounds. That's impressive. That's like a Basons or a Delacroix red. Kalen has got a nose for those big reds. He's always able to find them. 8.75 pounds is just a football. You're right.
Oh, absolutely. It was complete giant football. And then coming in 4th place was Jonathan Carter with 27.18 pounds. Now that's a guy that really ended the year well. If I recall, he came, was it a 2nd or 3rd place at Fallen Tide this past year?
Yeah.
Yes. Right. Yeah. And then he had that ridiculous leopard red that had 60-some spots at Fallen Tide.
I think so. He's kind of a newer member to the club, I think, last year or 2, but he's really coming on strong. He's a college bass angler. On Texas Tech.
College bass. Y'all might remember him, and he was the one that joined us from the offshore platform on the show. Actually,
he did.
After Fallen Tide.
That's right.
He did. So, I expect kind of big things from Jonathan this year. Terry, I think he's finding his groove. You're always going to have your Steve Lesarge, your Devin Belts is up there going to be competing.
Terry's only been fishing competitively for about 3 years now.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So he's really come on strong.
Although if you ask him, he'll tell you that he never pre-fishes, but every time I see him out there, he's pre-fishing the day before the tournament. But that's just me, So you'll find that. But no, we've got a lot of new anglers coming in, not a lot of new blood, and a lot of really good anglers. So it's exciting to see some of these new guys coming in and doing really well. And what we're seeing now with the championship being implemented is we're getting some people who may only fished a tournament or 2 really wanting to come in, be competitive, try to earn that spot to the championship and come down and really just spend a weekend with us. That's really what it's all about. You get 30 to 40 guys out there drinking, eating, fishing, lying, it's all good. It's all good. But this year we've got some big changes coming up to the championship, which I think we're excited about. I know Dan had talked about it. Dan was elected the assistant tournament director, coming in new to the board this year. He had some ideas, and we went back and forth about it, trying to figure out a way to implement some things. And I think we finally came to an agreement. Mm-hmm. And Dan, if you'll talk a little bit about how anglers will qualify for the championship and then what's new this year about qualifying for the championship?
Sure. So the system that we've had in place for the last few years, in order to qualify for the championship, first of all, you need to be an active paid member, dues-paying member of the club. And then after that, you can qualify by placing in top 20 of Minimalist Challenge or top 15 of any of the other 3 qualifying tournaments, and then also pay for a second tournament. So basically, you only need to do really well in one tournament, which gives you the opportunity throughout the year of guys like Ben over here of really like putting in the time in one tournament and getting better as the year goes on. And we had Rumble on the River, and Ben and I were fishing a lot together throughout the year, getting better all summer. And he really put it together on that final tournament day to get that top 15 finish. Second place, I believe, in Rumble on the River. So with that in mind, doing the math, 20 in Minimalist Challenge, 15 in the other 3. That's 65 spots up for grabs to get into the championship, plus your previous champion of the last year's championship, which will be Brian Pham this year. So that's 66 total spots. With the way it works with as many competitive anglers as we have, this year we ended up with about 40 people qualifying who were also members of the club, paid for the second tournament, so on and so forth. And we're taking a look at the Angler of the Year, and there's some guys that were coming in maybe 12th place in Angler of the Year, or 20th, or 5th, or basically in the top 30-ish anglers, but had not qualified yet for the championship. So we're looking at this list, and we're saying, these are good anglers that they have a place in this championship right here. They would be competitive. How do we get them in there?
It was and it's funny because it's like someone who's finishing 16th out of the top 15.
Or 22nd in Minimalist.
Yeah, right. Or 22nd or 17th, and they're right there. I think we had one guy this year actually going into the championship. He was sitting in 5th place for Angler of the Year. But
Michael Etheridge.
Yeah, but he hadn't qualified. Well, we don't name names on here, but he hadn't qualified yet for the championship. So we amended the rules. So we've got our regular 20 people at Minimalist, 15 for the other 3 tournaments. Plus,
we are now implementing a brand new wildcard format where it's going to, again, be based on that Angler of the Year ranking. So there's this incentive that every tournament you fish, even if you only catch 2 12-inch trout, and you're definitely not going to be in the money, you want to get yourself on the board so that you have a chance to acquire those Angler of the Year points, so that at the end of the year, the top 2 ranked anglers in Angler of the Year that did not qualify through the conventional route of top 20 or top 15 in the other 3 tournaments, they will get a ticket to the championship.
Yeah.
And in the event that we have a year where there's several anglers at the top there just crushing it, we have it so that we are going to try to get to at least 40 anglers. So I believe we had up to 5 wild cards as the max?
Yeah, up to 5 wild cards max. A minimum of 2, up to 5 max. It depends on
to get to at least 40 anglers.
Yeah, and the reason why we look at 40 is one of the reasons is the payouts. We've got it after doing this for 3 years now. We know about how many people we're going to have as far as money wise, and we want to keep the payouts the same, which are great. I mean, this past year, first place paid out $2,000.
Yeah.
Second place $1,500. Third place $1,000. And I think we even paid out 4th and 5th this year, Tyler, if I'm not correct.
Yeah, we did. I can't remember the numbers, but it was around maybe 500 for 4th and 200 for 5th.
Yeah.
Like that.
Speaking of payouts, Tyler, why don't you take us through the person who wins the championship this year? What do they get on top of the money? Tell us about that.
We got a big announcement. I think we announced it on Facebook already, but
give us the details.
Some of the guys may have missed it, but this year Tyler's been working behind the scenes.
Yeah.
He's been going back and forth. And tell us. I mean, I know I'm pumped.
I've been trying to get to make this happen for a couple of years now, and the stars finally aligned, and we have Native Watercraft and Pack and Paddle are teaming up this year to sweeten the first place prize
and sponsor the championship series altogether.
Yeah, they're sponsoring they're basically become the championship series is now presented by Pack and Paddle and Native Watercraft. They've become the kind of the title sponsors for the series. And so our first place, our champion, our 2020 champion, will take home a brand new Native Slayer Propel Max. It's a new kayak that they
That's a nice kayak. I got that.
Yeah, Dan has one, so he can speak on it. I've got mine ordered.
What's that thing retail for?
That retails for $26.99, I believe.
That's correct. Yeah,
So-
$26.99.
So we're adding that. Yeah, we're adding that to first place. So now you're taking home a $2,700 kayak plus $2,000. So you're looking at $4,700.
Yeah, and if we throw in tax for the kayak, I mean that's $3,000 plus. That's a $5,000 first place prize.
Yep.
I mean, good luck trying to find that anywhere else. Where if you qualify for the championship, it's what a $50 entry fee, and you're competing against only 39 other people. And a first place $5,000 prize. I like those odds.
And again, coming back to the wild card entry system, you want to get into this championship. You don't have to win Angler of the Year. You just have to win the championship.
Yeah,
Weigh in your fish.
weigh in your fish.
Weigh in your fish.
Because the way it's going to work is it's the 4 qualifying tournaments, which will be Minimalist Challenge, Golden Medal Smackdown, Trout Challenge, and Golden Medal, the Where You At, and then we're going to have the Redfish Rumble.
Pack.
Yeah, pack. So basically, those 4 tournaments, you catch one fish, weigh it in, you want your points, because if you enter, I think you get 10 points, which is not going to help you. You weigh in one fish with 60 people, the worst you're going to get is 240 points. So it's definitely worth it to weigh in your fish, get your points. Stand in line, just do what you need to do, because if you finish and you could have the top 15 in Angler of the Year could all qualify the regular WOW. You could be sitting there at 20th and you're going to qualify. So definitely something to look forward to. Big prizes this year for the championship. Big thanks to Native and to Pack and Paddle for putting this together for us. Big shout out to Tyler. He's been working on it for a couple years now, and it finally came through. And so we're really excited about that. Kind of mix it in there. What else we got? We got all kinds of stuff. We got Minimalist coming up this weekend.
Mm-hmm. The weather's starting to actually shape up nicely for us.
The weather's shaping up
Minimalist
nicely.
challenge question come through already.
Drop the W word, but the conditions are coming in nicely.
So Dan's showing me the conditions. North winds, 10 miles an hour, 55 to 60 degrees.
That's perfectly fishable. I mean, you can even do some sight fishing in that if you find yourself behind a nice little berm or some grasses.
Yeah, the tide is looking good. Was this falling there?
Yeah. Taking a look at the tide, based on our estimates at Leeville, we figure the tide should bottom out around noon. So that'll give people a chance to catch the fallen tide all morning long and potentially ride it back in, depending on where they pedal or paddle off to during the day.
So look, I got to tell you, we sat here. Brendan Bayard, one of the officers, actually picked out the baits, and our great sponsor came in, and they basically gave us literally gave us the catalog and said, pick what you want. And so I gave it to Brendan. I said, I know you dream about things like this. Here you go. Pick out what you want. So Brendan went through and he's flipping through, and then later that afternoon I want this one, I want this one, this one. So we place the order, we get the baits in, and finally got to sit down tonight and go through them all and start bagging them. And I mean, this may be one of the best selection of baits I can remember seeing in a while. We've got a great mixture of baits. I can't say anything about them because they won't let me. I asked, but they said no.
Yeah, we had a question come through already. Somebody was wanting to know.
Yeah. Let's go, Tyler. Let's go to our viewer.
All right. Mark Eubanks wants to see a preview of the baits.
Here, give me a second. Give me a moment.
Hang on, Mark. I'm going to show you real quick. So, everybody, and this is our annual tradition. I'm going to show it to you real quick.
Looks like that.
No. This is our bag of baits, okay? And that's it. That's all you get to see there. So, it's great. Remember, you guys, what's that show with the ginger? The redhead guy.
Napoleon Dynamite?
Yeah, Napoleon Dynamite, right.
Dynamite.
No, I saw it on TV the other day. You know who one of my favorite characters from Napoleon Dynamite was? Tyler, you remember?
No, I don't. I don't know. I remember the movie.
Star.
I don't remember who you're.
The football star.
Yeah.
Someone on there knows. Who was he?
I don't know his name.
Like Napoleon's uncle guy?
Yeah, Napoleon's uncle, the one for the ball.
Yeah.
The high school football star.
Uncle Rico?
Uncle Rico, yeah.
Uncle Rico.
I saw that the other day and it made me laugh. So anyway, y'all should take notes on that. But anyway,
Hit.
they won't let me say anything. So no, we got some great baits. We got a wide assortment of hooks. What I will suggest to everybody fishing Minimalist is to make sure you check with us as far as the baits you should have. We try to be perfect. We try to bag everything, but we're literally going to 8-9 different piles, and we're making sure we put everything in there. So double check your baits. We're going to have a listing, a sample bag, what it should look like. Double check and make sure that all of your baits are in there. If not, we'll have extra baits to fill it. So just double check before you leave the table. To go over the rules real quick, you can't bring anything with you except leader, swivel, super glue, and any tools you want to bring to rearrange your baits in any way you want. We've had people clipping their baits. We've had people
I cut the hook off a death grip last year and created a Carolina rig.
We've had people cut off hooks. We've had people take hooks off of top waters and make a float out of them. We've had people clip bills on diving baits. We've had people cut soft plastics in half. So you can do anything you want to do with that. You just cannot bring your own hooks. You cannot bring your own baits. You cannot scavenge your own baits. You cannot scavenge your own hooks.
No scented dipping gloves, right?
No scented dipping gloves, no scented baits, no smell goods, nothing like that. I mean, you could spit on it if you want, but that's about as far as you can go. I do recommend, though, and I brought this for the first time last year because I've been recommending super glue. And I'll tell you why. You may find one of those baits is working really good, and it tears. And I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of redfish in Leeville right now. There's probably more redfish in Leeville right now than I've seen in probably since I've been fishing out there for Minimalist. Yeah. So, and they're going to tear those baits apart.
Yeah.
So you are going to want to have some super glue available to glue your bait back together, or scotch tape.
Hold it hard on the shank so it doesn't get bent off sideways, something like that.
Whatever you want to do is fine. But you can't bring your own baits. And kayaks are subject to randomly being searched. And kayakers are encouraged. We don't like tattletales, but in this particular case, if you see somebody fishing with something they're not supposed to, let us know. I mean, come up to an officer, keep it confidential, and we'll certainly keep your name confidential. But there's a lot of money at stake. I mean, first place is probably close to $900.
To get you to the championship, too. Don't forget
it's going to
about
get you
that.
the championship. Mm-hmm. So, we don't want people cheating. And as much as we hate to say it, well, there are people that cheat. I mean, we've caught a few people that have cheated before, and we hate to see it because we're all out there to have a good time at the end of the day. Tyler, we're paying out how many places this year?
7 places. It's a total of $2,700 that'll be divided across the 7 places. Yeah,
$2,700, and all your baits are free. Just a little housekeeping as far as what time are we handing up baits? Is it 5:30?
5 a.m., I believe.
5?
5 sounds about right. Yeah, 5 a.m., I
I
believe.
think it was 5 last year.
Yeah, check the rules.
I believe on the rules it says 5 a.m.
I think it's 5. That sounds pretty early to me.
And that'll be the pavilion at the public launch.
The pavilion at the public launch. But double check the rules. Double check the weigh-in times. You get there, unload, come to the thing. You'll sign in. You'll get your bag of baits, and you can go rig up then. And I don't think we launch till 6, right?
We got
that's correct.
Yeah, 6 o'clock launch. We'll sound the whistle. Everybody take off. Make sure you're back in time. Weigh-in takes a little bit of time depending on how the fishing's been that day, so just be patient. And we do have places for big red
and leopard red.
And leopard red?
Yes.
We don't have big trout?
Nope.
No, big red and leopard red apparently.
Are we allowed? We had one question. Are y'all allowed to just say how many baits we're getting? Maybe somebody wants to know how many rods to bring.
I would suggest.
How about we just say the total number of items, not exactly of how of.
No, I would say 6 rods would be plenty. 6 rods would be plenty. Yeah, I mean 4 rods would be plenty. I mean, let's face it. I'll get out there and I'll use one bait the entire time. And I'll rig up 6 rods and I'll have 1 rod. You say 4?
I'm going 4 rods.
Ben says 4.
And again, emphasis on minimalist for not giving you a whole tackle box.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're going to have.
Only fish one at a time.
I mean, so in past years, I can give examples of what we've had in past years for people who haven't fished it before. You're going to get a couple of soft plastics, more likely than not. Usually there's some type of hard bait. It could be a top water. It could be twitch bait.
Johnson Gold Spoon.
It could
one
be
year.
Rattle trap.
It could be a rattle trap. It could be a gold spoon. One year we had spinner baits. So I don't think we've had a cork yet.
No,
Yeah, I don't think we've had a cork yet. Yeah, no four horsemen yet. But those are the type of things that you're going to have. You're going to have all the hooks will be provided. Typically speaking, we've had weedless hooks. We've had jig heads. We've had
like circle hooks.
Yeah, we've had all kinds of hooks and stuff. So I think you're going to have. I think everybody's. If you complain about the baits this year, then you really haven't ever fished Minimalist before.
Your only complaint will be that there weren't enough because you lost them.
Yeah, exactly. I don't recommend rigging tandem baits like 2 at a time. Aaron LaRose will tell you about his first cast where he lost 2 of his baits very first cast by doing that, stagging it. So stick to 1 bait at a time, I think, to do that. So let's see. That's Minimalist.
Mark Eubanks says, damn, 6 rods. Todd's going to have to leave some at home.
Yeah. One other piece of housekeeping with the launch, there is the kayak little walk down ramp. There are 2 double wide boat ramps. However, we do need to get about 135 people into the water. So as you're showing up, if you could please unload your kayak and move your vehicle out of the way so that other anglers can get their kayak to the water. Don't block the launch. Be courteous. We got to get a lot of people into the water relatively quickly in the pitch darkness.
Be conscious of how you park. Don't take up 3
Absolutely,
spots if you don't have to. If you can do without bringing a trailer, it'd be preferred. The less trailers, the more room for parking.
Yeah.
I do have one. Last year was my first Minimalist and very hectic. You don't know what's going on. You've never been there. And it's dark. And I was tying all your lures. I didn't take my time to tie my knots. First cast, my lure flies into the horizon. So definitely take your time to make sure you do your knots.
Headlamps.
And,
Bring a headlamp.
Definitely have a headlamp.
Yeah.
Because that was just, I was just like,
Yeah, and tie your leaders the day before.
Yes, definitely.
Because look, a leader's a lot easier to clip off than it is to tie. So if you're used to saying, well, I like to tie certain baits directly to braid. I like to tie certain baits directly to leader. Tie your leaders up the day before. If you decide you don't want to put a leader and you just want to tie it directly to braid, clip it off. I mean, it's much easier than sitting there tying it that morning. Like I said, you get there at 5, you start hitting up baits. You can start putting your baits on. We blow the whistle at 6. It's going to be hectic. Everybody's going to take off and start, hauling butt in whatever their spot. You don't have to leave at 6 if you don't want to. You just have to be there before the officers leave to get your baits. If you show up after 6, there's a chance you're not going to be able to fish it. So make sure you're there on time. If there's an issue, text one of the officers. Text, me or Tyler or something like that. And let us know, or Dan. So sorry about that. We got
got Shiloh
dog. Yeah, Shiloh right around. So as far as pre-fishing and scouting, I know some guys are getting down there Thursday night. A lot of us are staying at Topwater. Some guys are camping at the launch, I hear. Sleeping
back of their trucks, in the back seat, just rolling the driver's seat down.
Yeah, but we're going to be definitely all up there Friday. The main hangout's going to be at Topwater. We're going to be cooking.
The meeting.
Yeah, we're going to have an officers.
The members meeting.
A members meeting, kind of impromptu members meeting at 7. It's just going to be talking about things. No particular agenda, I don't think. Just kind of answering questions, general stuff. But we're going to have food.
The bar opens at 4. I think.
It's the entertainment. The entertainment area opens at 4. Eric Stacy's cooking pork. I'm going to bring some boudin.
I'm bringing a grill.
Ben's bringing a bacon king cake. I think.
Yeah, bacon king.
Maple bacon praline king cake.
Bacon praline king cake. So that should be interesting. So anyway, we're going to be cooking. If you're fishing the tournament, come over, hang out with us, and have a good time, because there'll be plenty of food for everybody. And we're just all going to have a great time out there hanging out and everything. So I'll tell you what, let me switch over to Dan real quick. Dan, tell us a little bit about the other tournaments we got going on this year.
Did y'all mention one more thing with Minimalist, that we will be providing food at the weigh-in? Did y'all say that? Sorry if y'all did.
We did not.
We did not mention that. I believe that we have is it Leeville Seafood Restaurant is
Yeah, we'll have the usual. The last couple of years we've had some chicken pasta and shrimp pasta out there, and they're going to be doing that again.
Wonderful.
Great food at Leeville Seafood. I've eaten there twice.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah, so after the long day of fishing, we'll have some food for people as they're waiting in line to weigh in their fish. So that'll be really nice. And then as Sean was saying, we have our other tournaments coming up throughout the year. We have, I don't recall the exact date in March, but we have Trout Challenge,
yes,
which is going to be split between 2 launches this year. We're going to be at Catfish Lake as well as Basons Marina.
Golden Meadow.
Golden Meadow, yes, Catfish Lake, Golden Meadow. It's going to be 10 trout, correct?
It's 10 trout, and I think it's a flounder kicker.
That's correct. We do have the flounder kicking.
March 21st.
March 21st on that one. Then following that, always a club and Deep South favorite in general, Paddlepalooza. Paddlepalooza. We're going to be.
It's like the spirit of kayak fishing.
That is the first slam tournament of the year. That is going to be April 25th. Again, we're going to be having that at Bridgeside Marina. There, of course, will be captain's bags. Make sure that you come to the captain's meetings on the Friday before. You never know what you might receive in that captain's bag. It may come in handy. In years past, there has been gulp. We've had some anglers, they'll take that bag of gulp and turn it into a 2-3 pound flounder and end up placing in the money. So that's a great opportunity to have a great time, really enjoy it. Following that, in May, we got our wild card tournament of sorts where we're changing up the format a little bit. In May, we're going to be out in St. Bernard, and we're going to bring back a old blast from the past, May 16th, the Where You At Classic. The bag for this tournament is going to be 2 slot reds and 2 bass. So in this one, if you have any skills with the freshwater greenfish,
Green trout,
it's going to pay off.
It should be a little fun. We had it a couple years ago. We had a 3 red, 3 bass tournament. Actually, I think it was the Redfish Rumble 6-pack, Tyler. It was 3 reds.
You could have an option of 3 bass or 3 trout.
3 bass or 3 trout, right.
Mix and match,
yeah. Yeah, that was fun. That was an interesting tournament. But with the two reds, 2 bass, I mean, I know Delacroix, Hopedale's, all those areas.
Reggio,
Yeah,
out in Hopedale. I mean, Ben, you were out in Hopedale and you caught yourself like a nice little trout, just got like nice little bass, just kind of in the middle of a channel.
Yeah, I was trying to catch redfish, and I was just went to a pond just like your redfish, and I was throwing saltwater assassins, and I caught like
about 15-inch trout. Bass, sorry, same trout.
I caught like 14, 15-inch bass, and I was just like crazy, and with all the spillway opening and all this high water in the Mississippi.
Yeah, 3 of the last 4 years with all that fresh water, the bass have been doing great.
Yeah.
As long as they can stay under about 10 parts per thousand on salinity, they thrive and they keep growing. So you're looking at bass that are hitting 3, 4, 5 years old, just munching on the same bait that has been making our redfish and our trout really fat. And you're getting really big bass are starting to show up in St. Bernard.
Tyler, you fishing Lake Seminole next week? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but you had
two weekends in a row is gonna be tough with everything I got going on right now.
Yeah, I know you tell me your house is in pieces, and I can tell you got wood sticking out your wall right there.
There's a reason why I'm facing my back's facing the TV.
So if you guys don't know it, Hobie has these bass tournaments.
Bass Open Series.
The Bass Open Series.
$30,000
$30,000 in payout
total.
Yeah. But it's all bass. I mean, you can't catch redfish and Wayne redfish, but
serious bass lake.
So the first one is coming up in 2 weeks, and that's in Lake Seminole, Georgia. It's about 5.5 hours from New Orleans, kind of like north of Panama City, but right there along the Panhandle. And I know, like for me, my dream is to fish the Hobie Worlds one day, and unfortunately, the only tournaments really are like the Hobie Bass Open Series, because the Hobie is offering through their Bass Open Series the opportunity to qualify for the Hobie World. So I've got to go and compete against these bass anglers, and I really wish there was another way to qualify. But right now it is what it is.
Right.
You know, we got to fish these bass tournaments, so I got to go against these guys that are bass fishing every day. So Lake Seminole in 2 weeks. It's the weekend after Minimalist. I think Jonathan Carter signed up.
Mm-hmm.
I know some of our regulars, Matthew Van, Brandon Barton out of Florida. They're going to be fishing it.
Is Clayton going to be fishing it?
Clayton's not fishing it. He's got some other stuff going on. And then at the
Lake Fork, right?
Yeah, Lake Fork, it's like in 4 weeks.
That's a big one.
And that's going to be a big one over in, it's about an hour east of Dallas.
Yes.
Not too far. It's actually
That's what, about 8.5 hour drive?
It's about 7.
Really?
It's
That's not bad.
No, it's
Not
like
bad.
2 hours from Shreveport. And that's going to be a big one. So
There's some huge bass.
And again, we're saying from New Orleans area.
So there's about, I know there's probably 4, 5, 6 of us that are looking to fish Lake Fork as well. I plan on fishing Seminole and Lake Fork. Tyler and I know we talked about it. Got to go fish the native tournament of Champions or Titan tournament, something like that up in Alabama. And that was just, we had a fantastic time. So if you want to qualify for the Hobie Worlds, those are 2 opportunities you're going to have to go fish. Unfortunately, it's a little bit out of our realm of expertise with bass fishing, but hey, you get lucky and qualify. So maybe I'll see you guys down there in Lake Seminole here in 2 weeks.
Gotcha. But anyways, going back to the championship series, we only got about halfway through the full tournament schedule. So after you hit May, it starts to get a little bit toasty in South Louisiana, and you're talking about summer temps there in the mid 90s, high 90s.
Last summer.
I mean, the type of temps that if you don't get your limit by,
you could use some work out in the heat there, buddy.
the type of temps that if you don't get your limit by 9 a.m., it's just not happening the rest of the day. We're thinking we're going to be a little bit creative. I personally am going to try to work some outcast tournaments into the schedule in June, maybe late August, short notice. Try to work some stuff in when we have some summer cold fronts come through. Maybe get some tournaments there. And then once we get back into September, on September 19th, we're going to be having our Redfish Rumble. This year, we're going to be having it out in Terrebonne Parish. I believe the launches we have are Pack, Island Road, and then Isle de Jean Charles.
Isle de Jean Charles, yeah.
Isle de Jean Charles. And those are your launch locations. Straightforward. Just like last year, it's going to be your two biggest redfish.
Yeah. So one of the things we're trying this year, and if you guys have seen, since I've been tournament director in these normal tournaments, is I change things up every year. We like to keep it different so you can fish different areas at different times of the year for different species. I think at the end of the day, it'll make you a better fisherman because, I may fish a certain area in October only, and I don't normally fish in the spring, or I may fish this area in the spring for redfish, but not for trout. So we try to change things up every year. And we have a lot of new anglers coming in this year, a lot of new members. And one of the things I want to do is not overwhelm them with, hey, look, you can fish all of Terrebonne. And people start like, Jesus, where do I start? So one of the things we did this year is, for instance, Minimalist, very popular tournament. We sold it out 135 spots in 4 days. 4 days.
48 hours. In under 48 hours, it was sold out. All 135.
So, and that's a shotgun launch at one location. So this year for Trout Challenge, we're having it in 2 launches. Mm-hmm. You could fish out of Golden Meadow or Basons. 2 launches, right? So it really narrows things down for people. Same thing with Redfish Rumble out of Pack.
Yep.
It's going to be basically Point of Shin at Pack Kayak Rentals or Isle de Jean Charles. You got those 2 launches to fish from. The only one where you really can have a lot of leeway is with Redfish Rumble down in St. Bernard Parish. But a lot of people.
Where you at?
Yeah, where you at?
Sorry.
In St. Bernard Parish. A lot of people fish that area anyway, and everybody's got their own favorites. But we want to kind of check it out this year, see how everybody likes, where you're kind of limited to where I know when I first started fishing these tournaments, I have no chance. These guys all got their secret launches and their roadside spots, and they're going to go these areas. Hey, we're all launching from kind of the same general area. I got just as much shot as any of these guys as far as finding them within a reasonable range.
Gotcha. And then of course, following your Redfish Rumble, the grand dame of all tournaments for Bayou Coast is Fallen Tide. Sean, why don't you tell us a little bit about what we're doing for that this year?
Well, we'll probably get to that in a minute. But Fallen Tide's Fallen Tide. It's it's a slam tournament. But then we have one more after the championship.
That's the championship. Yep, will be coming up in November.
That's going to be the Saturday before Thanksgiving. what you guys have to realize is when we schedule these tournaments, we have to look at everything. And I know Dan this year had a master list of the other kayak tournaments, football schedule, holidays.
Okay.
I think
we missed that on Minimalist a little
duck
bit.
hunting. Yeah, we've got the Chinese New Year, but we're all. Oh, that's the other thing. We'll be celebrating the New Year.
Vietnamese Chinese New Year.
Yeah, that's on Friday night. I know we got a lot of guys coming in for that, so we'll be celebrating that. It'll be a lot of fun. Fireworks, baby. Fireworks, baby. A lot of food, a lot of drinking, so it's gonna be good fun. I don't think at one point we scheduled a tournament on Memorial Day weekend. It was like everything looks good, and then we looked at the calendar and says that's Memorial Day weekend. It's like, well, we can't do that. Right?
Like May 23rd. Whoops.
Yeah. So, and then we had to take Kinley's birthday into account. Tyler, sorry, that was Dan's call. Just remember that wasn't me.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome, Tyler.
So we've got one thing we've been talking about is the big announcement we've got coming up, and it's probably kind of gotten out there a little bit, but as of next month, Off the Water is going to be moving to a new location when I'm moving to my new house. So that's the big announcement. I'm glad you guys could wait around for that. No, seriously, the big announcement is Tyler and Ben here are both having babies, not with each other. Not with each other.
Please clarify.
Just to clarify. And individually, they're not having babies.
We haven't decided on the name yet.
Yeah. It's
you did spare no expense in the announcement with all those fishing lures on that poster board.
I'll use club sponsor lures.
Tyler, you're expecting a little girl?
A little girl in June.
A little baby girl in June?
Our first one.
Just after the tournaments, but give you enough time to swing back into September. You got those 90 days where you can be at home with the baby and the wife, and you playing that right. I know you were scheduling that thing up. You were lining
the
up.
first one right after that will be on my wife's birthday. Just perfect.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So no, and Ben, you got your first one coming in June. Y'all are like the same week.
Within like 7 days of each other.
Within 7 days of each other. I mean, I'm excited. We're already planning baby showers over here, crawfish boils, things like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. That's all.
Wait. You said we were going to be coming back to something.
So did we announce everything else? Did we cover everything?
I mean, we mentioned Fallen Tide, but didn't really go into details about the date. We picked a date for that.
That's right. The big announcement, Fallen Tide will be October 24th this year. Falling Tide is also changing locations this year. This was something we went back and forth on a lot. I love fishing Highway 23. Highway 23 is probably my favorite place to fish. If I could, I'd schedule every tournament down Highway 23, but it's not fair to everybody that doesn't like Highway 23. And look, we get a lot of guys fishing Lafayette that come in from Lafayette, Lake Charles, et cetera, and that's a haul for them. So this year, we have changed the location to Bridgeside Marina. It will be the same boundaries, more or less, as Paddlepalooza. And we're doing this for a lot of different reasons. One is we want to increase the participation at Fallen Tide. Last couple of years, it's fallen off. We still get a good turnout. We get 100, 125 people. We like to see it back up to 200 people, like Paddlepalooza. It's just a great time of the year to fish. It's a great tournament. We have a lot of great sponsors doing a lot of things. The other thing is, and this is something that all of us have been working on, the officers, and we're in the early stages, but I am very happy to announce that this year's Falling Tide will also be one of the Hobie World qualifying tournaments. So what that means is that the winner of Falling Tide will qualify for the Hobie Worlds, which is just incredible. And I want to thank Morgan Prominence with Hobie, who we've been working with, for providing our club the opportunity. We will be working with some other clubs on this event, specifically the Mississippi Kayak Club, the Alabama Kayak Fishing Club, and also the Florida Kayak Fishing Club. We've been talking to them. They will, I think, are going to help us promote this event. It's going to be, again, at Falling Tide. It's going to be a slam tournament. It will not be a bull red tournament, meaning, it's not going to be a 40-inch red or anything like that. The redfish will be capped. We're working on specifics right now. So if you're not familiar with the Hobie Worlds, just in a nutshell, what it is that there's probably 15, 20 different countries
represented
that are represented in this. A couple years ago, Leeville, Louisiana, actually hosted the Hobie Worlds. And our own Steve Lassard is the only, as I understand, the only 2-time reigning Hobie World champion. And so you get 15 or 20 countries that send anywhere, I think, from 6 to 10 people that have to qualify in that country to fish it. And it could be anywhere. It's been in China. It's been in the United States. It's been in Australia. I think last year was in Australia.
It wasn't Melbourne, was it? Or
I don't know if it was in Melbourne. It's been in it's like the Netherlands or Sweden.
Netherlands,
yes, Sweden. So it's been in all these crazy locations and all over the world. And you never know what you're fishing for. It could be saltwater, it could be freshwater. You just don't know. You go there. Hobie provides you a decked out PA, power pole, Lowrance GPS, depth finder, special edition, everything. You bring your fishing equipment. So one of the things is that I know some people are thinking, geez, that's incredible. Right now, we are the only saltwater qualifying tournament for the Hobies this year. Now, this will be qualifying for the Hobie Worlds in 2021. So you would qualify in 2020 to fish the 2021 tournament. The other part of it is,
to be clear, they are, still designating some other events that will be world qualifying events. So there's a possibility there may be some other saltwater events around the country, but this will be one of the few.
Right. There's not many though. I mean, as of right now, I think there's 7 qualifying spots, as I understand it. Could be one more, one less. 6 are freshwater, and it's through the Hobie Bass Open. 1 is through us. There could be 1 or 2, maybe 3 more spots that open up, but we are very, very fortunate to be able to host this tournament, and we strongly encourage all of our members to come out, support this, because this is going to be a big deal, not only for our club, but also for the state of Louisiana. If you've ever fished the Hobie Worlds or been involved in it or seen the people, we have great fishermen coming in from all over the United States, especially guys that maybe not so good at bass fishing, but are more saltwater guys, and they want the opportunity to come in and try to qualify. So what the club has done is we are, to the person who wins the tournament, and if that person chooses to go to the Hobie Worlds, will be given $2,000 in cash in addition to their other prize to help them pay for their travel to the Hobie Worlds. Okay. Now, to be clear, if you finish in first and you don't go to the Hobie Worlds, but second place chooses to go, that cash will go to second place. You don't have to go. And some people may choose not to go, but that money will be specifically earmarked for that angler who is qualified and chooses to go to the Hobie Worlds. It's a once in a lifetime experience. It's here in Louisiana. It's going to be along LA, Highway 1, Golden Meadow, Basons, Leeville, Grand Isle. Anybody here has a chance to win it. You just never know when your number's called. What a great opportunity for the club and for us. We've been working on this for about the last 3 or 4 months. I'm really excited to be able to announce this for the club. It's something we're all working on very hard. And we're in the early stages. The only thing that's been determined is the location, the date, and obviously the cash payout. Right. But there's a lot of things. There's a lot of different things that are going into this tournament that we're still working on, prizes, categories, things of that nature. Mm-hmm. But we're really excited about it. We'll be announcing more information as it comes along. Certainly, if you have questions, you can feel free to email me or Tyler. But we will definitely try to keep everyone updated as we go through this process this year. You could be expecting to see we're going to be heavily advertising and promoting this product for Hobie, as will the other kayak clubs along the Gulf Coast. We hope that this becomes a yearly thing and maybe something that will be shared among the clubs in different locations. I think it would be really awesome for the Gulf Coast to have an event like this, really kind of showcasing the anglers we have, because we have some exceptional anglers throughout the Gulf Coast. So I'm pretty pumped about it. I hope you guys are too. I know there's some changes this year with Fallen Tide, and I know it's probably going to upset some people, and I can appreciate why you're upset about it. But I hope y'all understand we're doing what we can, really what we hope to bring more awareness to the club and to the state and to our general fishery. So hopefully it's a good thing overall.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a 1-year deal. So if it doesn't work out, we'll go back to the drawing board next year, So we got any questions, Tyler, from anybody about Minimalist or any other tournaments this year?
No, I hadn't had any in the last little bit.
They're on shocked.
Shell shocked.
Yeah.
It's pretty mind-boggling to have the chance to wear, represent your own country.
Yeah, I mean,
for anything, right?
I mean,
and for kayak fishing, it's
right.
really a dream come true.
And the thing that's wild is that frequently people throw around, it's like, oh, he's a world-class fisherman. She's a world-class fisherman. Wow. The other guy's a world-class fisherman. You win this tournament, you are literally going to be a world-class fisherman going to effectively the biggest kayak fishing tournament on the planet.
It's a big deal.
You will be a world-class angler if you can get to the Hobie Worlds.
You absolutely will be. And look, I mean, I've only heard rumors, so don't quote me on this, but my understanding is the Hobie World team's invited to the White House. So I don't know. It's just something I heard. It was a rumor I started, but, it could happen. So maybe if you qualify at this tournament, you're going to be at the Hobie Worlds. You'll be at the White House with whoever the president is that time, shaking your hand and getting your Dr. Pepper. So it's a possibility.
McDonald's. Everything.
It could be McDonald's. Yeah, it could be McDonald's. You'll be right up there. But I forgot, and I feel congratulations to the Tigers. I mean, geez, I can't believe we forgot to talk.
Tigers.
LSU Tigers. National championship.
It's a 7-day anniversary.
It's a 7-day anniversary. Show us tonight. He's got
there
the
you
jersey.
go.
Burrow. 15-0. Greatest team of all time, and I forgot to mention
of all time.
42-25, right?
Complete skull dragging.
Yeah. Oklahoma beat Alabama. I mean, what a year.
It probably won't happen in my lifetime.
It won't happen in my lifetime again for sure. Every 4 years. So
Bo Pelini might come back.
I saw that. It's incredible. Well, guys, I mean, we've got such a great lineup. We've got some shows coming up that I want to do. We had a group of officers that actually went down to Los Buzos, Panama, in December. Went fishing. It's Chuck and Todd and Trisha,
Aaron
and Aaron Clay and Chuck Bayhan, and a world record. Jason Bain. A world record fish was broken by one of our club members. Now, don't say anything. I'm going to have them all on here. We're going to talk about it. But this was just everything they tell me is just an exciting trip. Fishing on a kayak, and I think they're in the Pacific.
Yes,
the Pacific,
west coast of Panama.
The west coast of Panama, the Pacific Ocean, catching roosterfish, hooking up with billfish, catching these giant white trout. They call them. I don't know.
It looks like the world's largest croaker.
It looks like they got these I forget it. They've got some beautiful fish over there. We want to talk about that. We're gonna get some pictures lined up for you guys.
Yeah, Aaron Clay hooked up with a marlin. I know that.
He hooked up with a marlin, right?
Snapper. I mean, all kinds of stuff.
Bear snapper. I want to get some pictures. I want these guys to tell the story because I wasn't there. It's on my bucket list for sure. Hobie Worlds, Los Buzos. So I'm gonna try to cross them both off this year. So this year I'm gonna finish them both. I'm just gonna
go all out.
I'm going all out. I mean, so I gotta cross off those bucket list items. We're gonna have those guys on to talk about that trip. Tell us a little bit about the experience, what you can expect when you go down there. I know they had some long days fishing, but they said I know they're planning another trip right now. So yeah. So anyway, it's gonna be a good year. We're gonna be back. We're gonna be back shortly after Minimalist. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the other tournaments we got coming up, about some of these Hobie Bass Open tournaments, and we'll continually fill you guys in over the course of the year.
Every week, right?
No, yeah, every week, right? Every week we'll be back.
Working one a month at least.
Hey, look, I can't wait in a month.
We went from weekly to bi-weekly, and then it was like,
we can do it maybe a month, every other month. It's not that I don't love sitting here talking with you guys, because I do. But it gets harder and harder with,
Just drink more wine.
I can't say the names out loud, but so anyway. Hi, Rowan. You want to come say hi to everybody? Okay. Come on.
And then
We're gonna add one more person to the group here.
let's hop out of the way and let Rowan take this.
This is Rowan, the rock star, our future rock
Hey,
queen.
Rowan.
See her now. 10 years from now, you're gonna say that's the Taylor Swift of now. 10 years from now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I think it's past your bedtime. Give me a kiss. All right. Long little girl. All right. She's a great kid. Great singer too. So anyway. Well, look, guys, we're going to wrap it up. These guys got to get home. I've got to shut it down. We're going to be moving into our new studios next month, a month from now. So I'm really looking forward to that. Tyler's going to have his house fixed up after he had some plumbing issues. So it's going to be all good. And babies in June, man, all kinds of things going on.
Bayou Coast Babies.
Bayou Coast Babies, Hobie World Qualifier, Bass Open tournaments. I mean, I don't know, Tyler, could it get any better this year?
I don't think so, man. I'm pumped.
I mean,
Native
Watercraft, Native Slayer, first place championship. I mean, shit.
Fancy kayak. I mean,
it's a banner year. That's what
It's a
I
banner
think.
year for sure.
Yeah, we're going to set some milestones, I think, maybe for some of our turnouts at some of these tournaments. It's going to be a good year.
I think so.
yeah, I mean, if we
Oh, go get the plaques. Go.
Oh,
We
oh,
forgot.
yeah.
We
How
forgot.
could
We
we
forgot.
forget?
Yeah. One other thing we forgot. So, if you're fortunate enough to finish in first, second, or third, give me first place. We don't want to see that.
I'll take second.
Yeah. Okay. You will be awarded this very fancy Bayou Coast Minimalist Challenge 2020 first place plaque. It's very nice. It looks better in person. It's black with a silver plate, which normally you'll see the brown and the gold. I think this is much finer, personally. These plaques are beautiful. I mean, I could hang this on a wall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Literally can hang it on a wall.
literally hanging on a wall. So I know a few guys got their eyes on this already.
My wife is
I'll tell you what,
aching at the bit.
you're going to have to juke past me to get this plaque, if you know what I'm saying, right? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's all that one coming. So anyway, all right, guys. Well, look, I think we kind of wrapped up tonight. I think we did a good job. I want to thank Ben and Dan for joining me tonight. I want to thank Tyler for coming on. Even though he's got a baby coming, he's still taking the time to cut it out here and to get us all organized and up. We'll be back in a couple weeks after Minimalist. Talk a little bit about what happened at Minimalist, what we're looking forward to coming up in February and March. Got Mardi Gras coming up here soon, so it's going to be a good year. It's going to be a great year. So look forward to seeing you guys here. If y'all coming out to Minimalist, make sure you come up to us, say hello. We're going to be at Topwater Friday night. Club meeting, 7 o'clock. If you want to come up, even if you don't want to listen to us, just come and have a drink, eat some food, come say hello. So we'll see you then, and we will certainly see you guys next time.